Everything's coming up to Timberwolves. Yeah, in the zone. Simple dedication to the team when you're in the know. To Timberwolves. Yeah, in the soul. Lifting all the positivity for the Wolves to grow. So, where we going from here, man? We listen week to week to get the clearest to clear. Recaps, got that. Soundcap, got that. Team ads, got that. So tell me what they do not have, huh? Foolish question to ask, but I don't mean to go brag. But boy, they got all the stats, and they could go all the way back from KG to Zerbiak. And all I'm saying is that the cast a one-stop shot for my Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Ain't a thing falling, everything's coming up. Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Falling from the autumn, ain't nobody gonna stop him. It's the Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Phonies, you can spot them, they the sheep under their clothes. Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Talk a lot about them, y'all don't really know. Let's go.
Welcome into another episode of the Everything's Coming Up Timberwolves podcast. My name is Gabe Anderson, and I'm joined as always by Chris Emerson. Chris, how we feeling?
I would say glass half full. I'm going to try to do it again this week.
Good, because I feel like we need that right now because,
yeah,
man, we did it. I know you probably saw the intro or you probably saw the thumbnail. We did it again. We blew another double-digit fourth quarter lead, and this one's a little more understandable because it was at home, and at least, I mean, the first one, it was a 26-point lead, and you lose by 9. Like, how does that happen? This one, you lose by 2, and just a lot of mistakes. So let's just get into it. Who would you say, and I know you said you're going to be half glass, half full, but who's most to blame for this? Is it Edwards' mistake on the last play? Is it the officiating? Is it just bad? Is it D'Lo? Who do you think? Who's most to blame for this kind of breakdown?
I don't know, every player's parent for not having their kid 4 years earlier. I think it's just a youth. I think it's just a youth and experience thing. I mean, we haven't played in many high-level games like this. And, I mean, Anthony Edwards gets an offensive rebound, and I think we're up 3 with, a minute and a half left. And he quick puts up, like a shot over 2 guys in the paint. With probably 21 seconds left in the shot clock. Like, pull that out, run that clock. You're up 3, set up a play, don't rush anything. There was a lot of just bad plays, down the stretch. The ball wasn't moving. Everyone wanted to be the hero. And Edwards talked about that. He said, we all want the shot. We all, at the end, it's hard. Just experience, just playoff experience. So, I mean, if I had to pick one guy, I'm surprised D'Lo hasn't stepped up more.
Yeah.
I predicted this on our page, and it happened. They switched, and they put Brooks mainly on Edwards this game, and Bane on D'Lo, which I thought D'Lo would be able to destroy that matchup, and he didn't. He didn't really do much. And Edwards was destroying his matchup, but he couldn't stay out of foul trouble. So. Which is very, very rare for Edwards. So, I would say the refs definitely had a play in it. I would say there's a lot. There's a very real thing. The NBA doesn't want, the number 2 seed to go out in the first round. Like, it really doesn't, especially at home, like a really bad loss there. They shot, 15 free throws in the fourth quarter? Can't have that.
I thought something was up when I saw Adam Silver in the crowd.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know about it. Why is he here at a random first-round game at Memphis?
Right. I like Adam Silver, but he looks like a supervillain a little bit.
Yeah, no, he does. He absolutely does. So, yeah, that was interesting. D'Lo, like you said, D'Lo, he's just got to come. You just got to come to the table, man. When he had that opportunity with the last shot there, and he just put up an air ball, not the last shot, but one of them closing down the stretch, he puts up an air ball. Basically just glances off the backboard. It's an awful shot. You got to be able to get a shot better than that. And I feel like our offense, when it gets down to crunch time, it's just so stagnant. As much as Anthony Edwards has the ability to take someone off the dribble and hit a step back 3, we don't got to do that every time. Also,
shouldn't be the number 1 option.
I agree. I 100%, because like you could get that Like, you can move the ball around. If there's nothing there, sure. Anthony Edwards puts up a 3. Fine. Whatever. Or Cat puts up a 3. Cat was great that game. He was in foul trouble and he was complaining about everything. But he was hitting his 3. I think he had 3 or 4 threes. Like right over
7, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, 5 of 7. Like, he was great. I don't know why we went away from Cat for some reason. It baffles my mind.
I think a lot of it is Cat makes us go away from him because he doesn't make it that easy to get him shots. Like it's not like he's very mobile. It's not like he's flying off back picks or anything like that. He's just kind of a big, lumbering target for them to D up on. So I mean, part of it's on him, but yeah, we needed to play better for sure. And again, we talked about this last week and maybe the week before that. This is what's called playoff experience. Like they literally talk about it and always graph it for a reason. It's important. And this is huge experience for us. Nothing is better for the Minnesota Timberwolves right now than having a elimination game at home. Like that's huge. That's when you're going to be able to put all your chips on the table. And if we lose that game, it's going to be a very heartbreaking loss in a series that we should be already moving on to the second round. It should be a 4-1 gentleman's sweep right now. And instead, we may lose a closeout or we may lose an elimination game on the home court. That's going to burn, hopefully, the whole offseason for these guys. You know what I mean? Like, this is good for learning.
Right. And even though you say that, even though you say the elimination game at home, I would be shocked if this didn't go 7. Like, I know we were talking about this before. Now, maybe not shocked, but I really think it's going to go 7. I think it's something about playing at home. Now, do I like our chances in game 7? Not necessarily. But I can't, like, it's not like, okay, we've
done
got
the better team.
Right. I totally agree. We've gotten to Memphis one time and got blown out, right? And that was just okay. But the other 2 times, leading by 13 in the fourth quarter. And I mean, look at this season. It's been so close back. I think it's 5 wins to 4. Like this is an even matchup. It just depends. And what really hurt, I think, about last night's game was Desmond Bane. He was hitting jumpers, but he wasn't hitting the 3-pointer. And I guess the Grizzlies in general weren't hitting the 3-pointer, and we still lost the game. Like, but the big reason for that is rebounds and turnovers. I mean, just
and free throws. They had 15 more free throws than us.
Right, and missed a lot of them as well, though.
Yeah, but they're there. They're getting fouls on our guys, and they're there. They still made 5 more than us, but in a 2-point game, 15 more chances at free points is huge. Huge.
And I think that was the difference in the fourth quarter. Ja and the rest of the crew just started making them. Like they weren't making them earlier at all.
They were getting the calls
out there.
They were definitely getting the calls. Yeah, Nick Claxton. Oof.
That was I was watching. Like I said, I had a bachelor party weekend, and one of the people there was from New Jersey, so he's a Brooklyn fan. Oh, he was getting on Nick Claxton. Yeah, rough. Let's just say I'd rather be a Wolves fan right now than a Brooklyn fan.
Yeah, right, for sure.
That's depressing to get swept when you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a bad look.
It's a bad look. And LaMarcus Aldridge and Patty Mills and Blake Griffin. They tried everything. Yeah, I mean this loss hurt. We should have won it, of course, but like I said, it should be 4-1, and our players know that. So if we lose this series, or when we lose this series, however you want to look at it, that motivation's going to be there. I mean, or if we come back and win these next 2 games, that resiliency is crazy. But again, we've been the better team. I mean, 4 out of the 5 games, we've been the better team. So it's not unlikely for us to win 2 more.
Yeah, I agree. And something I want to bring up, and this is the last time we got blown out, people were questioning Chris Finch and his timeout calling. Now, I don't think there was an issue this game, and he kind of came out and said, I made a mistake with that. But just the play call on that 3-pointer for Ant, that was one of the best play calls I've seen in Wolves history. That was
that
great.
pass in the pass was even, it was like football-esque where you lead the receiver. I mean, the pass was out of the hand while Ant was still turning this defender to run to where the ball was coming. It was perfectly done.
Yeah,
Finch has drawn up a couple of gems this year.
right. Absolutely. He really has. And so man.
Here's a question for you. Do you remember first half Naz Reid in that game?
I do, yes.
13 minutes, 9 points. I could have probably used a little more of that. He was hot. I mean, he was catching the ball on the cut, getting some big dunks. Like, yeah, I don't know. I've got a hot take.
Go ahead.
I think I'm done with Pat Beverly.
Really?
Yeah. I think I'm done. I think for what he adds to the team, which is, like I'm talking actually on the court, for what he adds, I think his kind of ridiculousness sometimes is equally as detrimental. Like his over the top crap is a little bit much sometimes, and a lot of the times lately it hasn't been being positive for the Timberwolves. Like stupid technicals, like where he threw the ball up trying to like act like he was doing like a 70-foot floater after a foul was called, so he got a technical. That's one free point. He got in another double technical. Like there's just, delay a game. It was, there's just, he does some silly things that don't need to be done. And, sometimes they've kind of hurt the flow of the game. And I'm assuming next year he's going to be, half a step, slower, just like that's how Father Time works. And I don't know. I think it wouldn't break my heart if we have him in a trade package this offseason.
So do you think re-signing him was a mistake then?
No, because he's lost if we don't. So we have a $12 million guy now we can trade. Or whatever, 11 million, whatever we signed him for. 9 maybe, I don't know. But if we wouldn't have, he would have just been a free agent and he's not an asset to us.
Now, are you completely done, or does Pat Beverly of these last 2 games, let's assume there's 2, does he have a chance to win you over, or are you just done?
I've seen enough. I think it's like you get out of them what you needed. You got, a little change in culture. You got guys to believe in themselves a little bit. I guess in a perfect world, a 1-year extension is interesting to me because now next year he's a lame duck player again. So he's going into a free agent year again. So it's like, it's not like you showed a lot of confidence in the guy because it means next year you're either going to let him walk for nothing or you're going to trade him mid-season, at the trade deadline, because you're not going to let that asset just go for nothing. So it wouldn't surprise me if we had him for maybe a couple months of the year. I mean, in a perfect world, and let him keep building that little bit of grit for the team and then use his value and move on from him. We don't have a great roster is what it comes down to. We have this series is showing me that roster is a large issue is a large part of these problems. I mean, when you have a guy like, a guy that was hardly getting any minutes, get you 7 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter and what's his face, Clark.
Yeah.
Because we literally have nobody that could out rebound him. We just don't have that human being on our roster. Like that dude was hardly getting minutes all season, and he can out rebound every single person on our roster. We can't have that.
Right. And that's what we were talking about coming into the season. What do we do at power forward? And
we're the smallest team in the NBA.
We didn't do anything.
We're still the smallest team in the NBA, and I understand not making a big move throughout the year, but I mean, those kinds of things are really showing up. Like Ja gets to the rim whenever he wants. There's no one really scaring him at the rim, and Cat can't stay out of fouls. So, I mean, he's got to be careful. So we have no one else. Naz is the only guy that really protects the rim. I mean, he had some nasty blocks last game, but we can't play him. We don't ever play him and Cat together. So, I don't know.
Jaden a little bit. Jaden can go up and get a block.
He can get a block, but he can't get a rebound.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
know, like that's what I love about him is he's great defensively, but his brain is programmed as a small forward, and I understand that. I think he's great at that position, but he doesn't have the box out, try to get the tough rebound kind of mentality, and we
Mhm.
need that.
Something I want to bring up, where's Malik Beasley been? I mean, he had 8 points. I just think, like, in crunch time when we need a 3 or something like that, I feel like you got to have him in the game a little bit more. Don't you think?
14 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, 14 minutes and he had 8 points and 6 rebounds. I don't know. Like I would have played. I mean, I would give him all of Tayshaun Prince's minutes.
Torian? Torian
Torian
Prince?
Prince. Yeah, I'm sorry. Torian Prince. Torian Prince hit a couple of little floaters or little fadeaways, but he, in my mind, didn't play very well in that game. Um, and I don't know what I mean. Beasley offers us so much more upside than any of these
Mhm.
other guys. Like he offers us 40 points a game upside. Like that's not out of the question for him to drop 30 or 40 points any given game. Um, I feel like he should be getting 25 minutes every game just for the possibility of him winning us a series with 2 good games, you know?
Mhm. Right.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with him is. And he's been playing solid D. Like he's working hard. You know, it's
Mhm.
not like he's getting blown by. I don't know.
Right.
But in Finch we trust. I believe in him, but I, you know, I question it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And also, I think we got to talk a little more about D'Lo. Like, I you can talk about the bad shot all you want, but he just for stretches he just disappears. I feel like he's not part of it. And I feel like there were times he could have taken some shots when he was open, didn't
Yep.
take them. Like particularly where he like gets the ball and he's like wide open for free and he goes like this and then kind of stops everything and then passes it. Like you got to step up and take that shot. This is the playoffs. This isn't Detroit, man. This is the playoffs.
Right.
So
Right.
right.
Yeah, and he's had a couple comments in the press after that was saying when they talked to him about point guard, he said, "No, I'm a guard. I'm just a guard."
Mhm.
He's been really pushing that. I don't know if it's some sort of like maybe he's kind of unhappy with how many minutes he's been sharing with McLaughlin and how McLaughlin's been handling the ball a lot, or maybe the same thing with Pat Bev. Like Pat Bev has been almost a primary ball handler for our team over
Mhm.
D'Lo, which is very strange to me. I don't know if that's a strategy to play D'Lo off the ball more to try to get his scoring going, but I don't like that as a strategy.
Yeah, I don't either.
Um, but here's the deal: we've got 2 games left. What if D'Lo goes 35 and 30 these next 2 games?
That's
Then
true.
he's the hero of the series, and we move on to you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
but he hasn't been good. He needs to step it up, and he's got the talent. Um, Sometimes I think he's playing like I'm too cool for this, and I get it. It's kind of his natural vibe, but sometimes it feels like it's like an act. Like, dude, this is the playoffs elimination game. We're gonna have to see maybe like maybe sprint as hard as you can once today. You know, like maybe
Mhm.
like show me like how hard you can work on something. Like
Right.
I feel like he tries to show how good he can be without using much effort. Like almost like that's I don't know, Instagram worthy or something. Like he's trying to show off how easy he can make the game look sometimes and I don't know, I want more from him. I
Yeah.
mean, but in the same sense, he's maybe saved us $10 million in his new contract this offseason. I mean, if he
That's true.
finishes like this, there's no way you can turn and say, "Well, I'm looking for a max." But if he averaged 25 and 7 this series, how do you say he doesn't get a max? You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
that might have
That's it.
saved us $40 million over the price of his contract.
Now I know we're gonna have all off season to talk about this, but
Yeah.
do you resign D'Lo at this point?
I don't think you have a choice. Like
Okay.
everyone who says it's like the whole Kirk Cousins thing. Everyone that wants to get rid of Kirk, oh, he's terrible. He's not worth his money. It's the same thing with D'Lo. Oh, he's terrible. His stats aren't real. Okay, fine. So let's get rid of him. So then, who is your starting point guard?
Mhm. That's
Is it
true.
Malik? Is it Malik Beasley? Is it Jaden McDaniels or McLaughlin?
Mhm.
Is it some guy you're going to draft at 18? You're going to bring a rookie in at 18, like late first round pick, and have him start for a team that's a playoff team?
Mhm.
Are you going to try to pick up somebody off the scrap? I think maybe Gorgon Dragic might be the best point guard off the scrap heap in free agency. You'll probably pay him, if you want him to start, maybe 12 million a year. Like, who are you going to start? And if you don't come back at me with an actual idea on who you're going to start, then I'm not interested in the I don't want D'Lo talk. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if you want
You
to be a
think
playoff team, you definitely can't downgrade from D'Lo at point guard if you want to be a playoff team.
right. Do you think he'll ask for a max? Like or do
I
you think
would
it
if I
depends
was
how
him.
these next two games go?
For sure, it depends.
Okay.
Again, if he wins us 2 games, he's a max player. Like, he pushed us to the second, you know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
see the argument is what I mean. Right
Mhm.
now, if he finishes averaging 13 points, 6 assists on, career low shooting at the rim and at mid-range for the playoffs, um, maybe 15 mil a year, and that'd be wonderful. I would love him at that price.
Yeah. Do you I don't know. I don't know if any team is going to come out of the woodwork and give him any more than that.
So what I would do, and I think this is what teams don't do enough because they try to be buddy buddy with players, is I would say he's still on a contract for 1 more year, and then he's a restricted free agent for us. I would
Mhm.
say, okay, find the best deal you can, and we'll match it after next year.
Right.
You know, like, we'll offer you 4 years, $15 million a year, um, just for having some security. If you don't want that, we'll offer it to you this offseason. That's cool. Then we'll just, go out and find whatever deal and we'll match it,
Mhm.
and if nobody gives them a deal, well, then we'll do 15, maybe we'll do 12, like, at that point,
Right.
like, that's how the game's played. That's how the business is played. It's
Right.
bad business to bet against yourself, or to negotiate against yourself, like,
Mhm.
don't ask from a max if you don't have to.
Right. Yeah. I would tend to agree with that. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what goes down with D'Lo. But as much, I mean, I want to save
Really
money,
bad.
but I want to win this series too. Like
Oh,
if we're
yeah.
gonna win this series, D'Lo has to be part of it. Like he has to be in the fray a
And you
little
know
bit.
what's crazy? We won this series right now, and D'Lo wasn't part of it.
Hmm. That's
Like,
true.
we easily could be 4-1 right now without
Mhm.
D'Lo really being part of it, and without Cant being part of a couple of those games, and without
Mhm.
Ant really doing much. I mean, 17, 18, 19 points out of Ant, that's below average.
Mhm.
But also, let's give credit to, the defense. Like, how often have we been held this close to 100 points or under? I mean,
Right.
there maybe it's the way so many fouls being called slowing down the game, or maybe just the way playoff basketball is being called this year, but it's a slow grind of a game. I mean, we saw the Nets score, I think, below 100, or like in the 90s or something a couple
Mhm.
games ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a mix of playoff basketball, and I think it's a mix of just uh, the Grizzlies taking away Cat, and then we have to go to other options. I know he had a good game last game, but I don't know. And the positive thing I will say about is I love to see, you saw it a couple times in that game, Ant finding his mid-range game. Like, he's starting to find it a little bit. Like, if he can be a three-tooled player where he can hit the three, get to the basket, and pull up to the mid-range, he's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, that's what I said a couple episodes ago. That's what's really unlocked him. The last little run of the season was he was using that mid range, which all these vets always say that's a huge thing in the playoffs is mid range shooting. Um, we'll see. I mean, he picked up some chintzy fouls, like where he was the third guy coming in to defend a shot, and he happened to hit the guy. Like, he picked up 2 or 3 fouls that were kind of not really normal fouls he picks up. So it would have
Mhm.
been interesting to see the way that he was rolling for a little bit. If he would have played his full gambit of minutes, how many, what the game would have been. But I mean, he still ended up with 34 minutes, I guess. I mean, he played a
Yeah,
lot.
right.
I was really
And
frustrated with Vanderbilt that game. I don't know why. I was frustrated with it. It
he
looked
can't
like he just wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. He can't catch the ball. when they try to force it to him like down low, we got to stop doing. And I know we said this a long time ago, but we got to
Well,
stop doing that.
the
He
problem
can't.
is
He doesn't
if
have the
we don't
hands.
get him the ball in that dunker spot for that little drop off which he's been dropping lately, then
Right.
he's literally has zero value on offense.
I
And the
agree.
other team can just completely forget about him.
Yep.
It's almost like when a team runs the ball in the first quarter of a football game just to like play action you later. Like you've got to drop that ball off to Vanderbilt a few times to keep his defender at least hedging that way a little bit so that our drivers don't have so somebody's not just playing center field, leaving Vanderbilt completely wide open.
Do you think like in the offseason or something, he could ever develop like a short jump shot or like a post up game? Do you think it's within the realm
I think
or
post-up game is probably too much. I think he can be a corner three-point shooter.
okay?
He went from like a 50% free throw shooter 2 years ago or last year to this year. He was like a 75, and for a while he was shooting even better than that for a long stretch of the season. So he's
Mhm.
got an okay looking jumper. It just needs reps. And if he could become like a 35% just strictly corner three, maybe even just one specific corner, that would be a huge, huge step for him.
Yeah.
But more likely, I think that that's a position we need to upgrade.
Right, because you see it all the time. You see him go up, he'll set the screen, they'll go this way, they'll pass it to him, and no one's on him. Like
Yeah,
everyone's in the paint, no one's on, and then like so there's no separation there. So what did that pick just do?
nothing,
Nothing. It did
nothing.
absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it did nothing.
So
It just
as
brought
much as
what the pick did was just brought a sure double team on the ball, on the
right.
dribble.
Right. Yeah. So I don't really know what we do there. We're probably gonna have to upgrade Jared Vanderbilt, but it's weird. It's weird. Like I feel like we should be talking more doom and gloom when it's a 3-2 series and we just blew 2 games. But it feels like we kind of got this in a way. Like I feel like you said, I think we're a more talented team. I think we're a better team. I think we're gonna play really well at home. I as much as I want to say okay, the game 3 debacle, I don't want to call it a fluke, but I don't think we're ever going to do that again. Like
We
I
got up
don't
20 twice, though. I mean, we
yeah,
dominated them twice during that game. I
right.
listened to a podcast with Dane Moore and the Memphis guy, the Memphis beat writer,
Yeah.
and he said that Minnesota has been the best team, most of this series.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah, we did lose those 2 games or those 2 huge leads, but we got those 2 huge leads. That's the thing people don't understand. Like getting a 26-point lead is not a fluke, and doing it twice in one game isn't a fluke. We
Mhm.
held, I think the first time that they got out to like an 8-0 head start last game or something, but after we caught up, nobody or we led all the way till the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, we can do this. We can win it.
I agree.
We can do it. We
Yeah,
have
I
the team. We've played it up. We've got the ability. I at least want to see game 7. And more
I agree.
importantly, for playoff experience, I want to see our young players either succeed or fail in elimination games. I mean, that's what it's
Mhm.
all about is elimination games, your backs to the wall. This is how you build a character. And we're gonna build a character one way or the other, either through success or through failure.
Mhm.
But
And
we at
and
least get to do it.
I want to say this, just a little ray of positivity. I'd rather do this, be in a tight playoff series, and maybe see us lose a heartbreaking game, than not be there at all and be like 22-60 and
For
just
sure.
be out of the play. I want to make that clear. Like
Yeah.
this has been an absolute like thrill ride for the Minnesota. I mean, you had the Clippers game, and we'll probably do an in memoriam for the season
Yeah.
if it turns that way. Hopefully after Game 7, if that happens, I still think we can win the
You mean
series.
of the NBA finals?
Right? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, of course, that's what I meant. Well, anyway, I think we'll leave it there. Chris, thanks so much for being here.
I want to mention a guy in the
Yeah, go
in
ahead.
the in the chat here, Syndex or something, Synodex.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, tragic loss, on to the next one, 100%. Like, we can win this, there's no reason why we can't. We were the better team all last game. And like you said, much needed experience. And that's what this is about. Like, I use this a lot of times. I'll say, we're not playing season mode. This isn't NBA 2K season mode. This is franchise mode. So this is huge for us. This roster isn't a complete roster. This isn't our franchise's finished roster. We're getting experience. This is what we wanted. This is huge for this team going forward. Like, the arc of the Timberwolves, it's not like, oh, well, this was our peak, time to blow it up and start over. Like, this is baby step number 1 of this franchise. I mean, Anthony Edwards is 20 years old. This is huge for us. This is good. So just be happy and be excited to have a game 6.
Absolutely. And this is the Everything's Coming Up Timberwolves podcast. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell, and tell a friend on YouTube, and follow us on Spotify so you never miss an episode. And as always, go Wolves, Wolves in 7.